start, your mind will open up a hemisphere where it will just start thinking about what to build that matches your interest. Sometimes people are constrained to build things that correlate to a career outcome. Like if I want a high-paying job as a React developer, okay, well, I'm gonna learn React. But what if React isn't the thing that helps me build the things I want? It helps me build the things my boss wants. So now you can actually do both. So it's so strong.
Oh, that's a good example. Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm back.
Hey,
Welcome back.
we were philosophizing more.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm super glad.
So, you guys good to dive back in here?
Yeah, let's do it. I had
Yep,
to
sounds good.
get a snack and revitalize myself, so I'm ready.
Awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Um, so, where were we, right? I was being as simple as possible, and it basically said it needed a bunch of my info to get this hooked up. And instead, I just did the simplest thing possible. And I just dropped in a screenshot of my username and credentials and stuff. And I was like, just do the needful. And like that is going to save you a lot of time. The best way to go about this is if you're ever doing manual work of any kind that's kind of painstaking and whatnot, assume AI can do it and then try. If it can't do it, you'll know, and then you'll just go back to doing what you were anyways. But if you assume AI can do it, you unlock new capabilities. So always assume that you don't have to do it yourself. And then if that assumption is wrong, well, then you'll just do it yourself. That's what you were doing anyways. And then the thing here is now I literally never have to now manually put in my username info and stuff. Like I just know that I know it can do this. So that's now a new tool, right? So it actually saves me across a year of development. If I aggregated all the time spent manually putting my information, it probably would have been, hours. So like it actually saves you a lot more time when you develop your arsenal. So
I'm
it
just,
did,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna take a pause and really emphasize that. I feel like a lot of perception of AI is like skeptical. It's like, oh, I don't know if the AI can handle this. And what you said there is actually not something I've ever heard before, which is like just assume that it can, and if not, adjust accordingly, you know?
Because that assumption is going to buy you back so much time. Like if both of
Right.
you were actually going to set out to be developers, knowing that it can do this aggregated across each time it does it, you're just saving so much time. And it started with you assuming that it was possible. So assume it's possible and then work backwards from there. So powerful, so powerful. Um, so and I think that's the skill set. If you want the truth, that's the new skill set is how to leverage AI efficiently, because we can all use it. And then you may look back and say, this took me 2 months to build. If I was a regular developer, it would have taken me 2 months also. So then what's the advantage, right? The advantage is to make what's easy so much easier. That's where the human input comes in. So let's see. Oh, it says, what's the name of my GitHub repo? So if it doesn't know things, it'll ask. And that's fair. So it's called food blog. Well, it's called food blog. It doesn't get simpler than this, does it? It's like I'm talking to a friend. I wish I had more. And I do now, right? This bot. It can actually just have a full unrelated conversation with you, which is funny. I've done that before. So how are you feeling today, Rob? And I'm like, yeah, kind of down. What about you? Okay. Um, yeah, so it did it, right? It literally did it. So now when I refresh this page, check this out. Everything's there. Everything is there.
Nice.
Oh my
And
God.
and what's so cool about this is let's just for a moment forget about everything we have on the IDE. And now I'm just a dude with a GitHub repo. And let's say, I come here, I'm like, this is, I want to start working on that food blog thing. I'm on a different computer, food blog, right? And you do the same steps that I described earlier. Open up cursor, right? Doesn't have anything. Okay, food blog. Or actually, maybe you don't even have to. Yeah, maybe you don't even have to really do this. You like, I'm just gonna. Let's see here. Man, I'm gonna delete this. Yeah. So remember what I said. Go to code, get that link there, come back, clone the repo, drop the link, and then decide where it goes, right? So it'll go in desktop and it'll go in food blog. And that's my repo location. It asked me to open it. Okay, it's opened. Cool. I have food blog. Let's host this locally, right? I mean, this is my third time saying this because it's that easy and you need to do that all the time. I'll say things again that need to be done all the time. So those things are useful to say again, right? Because they need to be done all the time. So yeah, so now it's hosted. So it's actually checking if it started successfully. You could do that yourself, but it does these sanity checks for you. It's very useful that it does that. And it didn't, right? So we'll go through that. Um, npm run dev. So once you pull, guys, this is so crucial. Once you pull a repo, the dependencies are not installed automatically. That's the thing. The dependencies are not installed automatically. So every time you pull, you'll need to install the dependencies. Um, and that's so that the GitHub is not bloated with a bunch of files that the project is dependent on. It'll just tell you what it needs so that you can install it on your machine. Now that it installed it, it can just let me run it. And okay, it's ready, so it should be good now. By the way, this was the old version. It's, if I refresh this, it's not even going to be up, right? Oh, maybe it might because it's using the same localhost 3000. Yeah. So now it's up, right? So what did we just do? We were working on something locally, pushed it to GitHub, and then we restarted the whole process and we pulled it from GitHub again. That's just a little sanity check for us that we can now do that, right? We can have code on GitHub and we can pull it locally and we can start again. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's the main process. Now, if I were actively developing, okay, it's trying to check if the server is running, and maybe I don't want it to check. I already got it up, so I'll just say stop, right? I don't mean to be rude, bot, but no need to check it. So that's key for now. And this is where things will become more important. So let's say, okay, now what branch am I on? And I'll explain the importance of asking this question. It says I'm on the main branch, and now we're going to actually talk about what this stuff means. When you ultimately deploy your application, it's going to deploy what's in main, right? So main should always have the best version of the code till date. That's the idea. Main should have the best version of the code till date. Because when you actually start hosting your site online, it will be using what is in main. So if you're doing some scrappy renovation work, you don't want to be doing that in main. Main should always be your backup. It has the code that is the best version ever. If you're doing scrappy development work, it's very possible that things are going to break. You're going to see things you don't like. How do you do that? So what I'm going to do is you're currently on the main branch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a different branch here, and it's going to be called the development branch. You could call it whatever you want to. That's where I'm going to be doing a lot of scrappy development. And then once that development is the way I want, I'll push it to main so that main then has the latest, greatest version after all my scrappiness. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah, I can go on.
So the scrappy, ugly mess development stuff, that's going to happen elsewhere. I don't want to touch my final awesome, cool project. But when that scrappy development is refined and I'm like, that's what I want now, I'll merge that with main, and then main will reflect that new change. So main right now, if we see, it says Val's blog. And well maybe okay, so it says culinary delights. So maybe I don't want it to say culinary delights. I want it to say um, you know, uh okay, so I'm on main right now. I'm gonna create a different branch, create a different branch called development branch. so that I don't conflate my scrappy development with what's in main. That's all I had to say. So it's going to create this new branch for me. And then it's verifying that this branch was created. So now the asterisk is on development branch and not on main. That basically means we're on the development branch now. And we can go back and see this, right? So let's refresh, view all my branches. Oh,
So branches are like versions.
they are exactly. Now I don't know why oh. So what's interesting here is that like I just created that branch. There's nothing like I don't actually see it, right? And so I have no idea why that's the case. Sorry. I'm joking. You have to push something to the development branch in order for it to actually show up here. So let's say, okay, great. We created that development branch. Let's push this current version. This is like this website as it appears now. I'm moving it over to the development branch so that it has this version and then I'll get scrappy with it, right? So it now pushed it to the development branch. And you see this here? That's the development branch now. That now, right now, main and the development branch both have the same thing, right? Because we didn't make any changes. We just copied, the current version of the website. We ported it over to the development branch. So development branch and main, they look the same. But now I'm on the development branch because again, and maybe you forgot which branch you're on. Just ask, hey, what branch am I on? Right? And it says, oh, okay, you're on the development branch. So now I can now make a change and you'll see the different versions visually. You'll see the different versions. You'll see. So it says, okay, I'm on the development branch. The asterisk is there. And, you know, sometimes it just takes a long time to do simple things. Currently on the development branch. This is the branch we just created. Okay, so I'm on the development branch. Now I can get scrappy with my changes. So if anything goes wrong in this scrappy, messy process, well, I have the code as it was before in the main branch. Fine. Um, so what I'll do now is change, change the lights to Val's delights. Now this change is going to happen on the version that the development branch is storing.
Okay. Question.
Mhm.
So the files on the left sidebar,
Mhm.
those are now reflecting the changes in this new development branch that you have done.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
if, oh, sorry, yeah.
no, please go on. I interrupted you there.
Oh, that's cool. And if you wanted to go back to the main, you would just type into the chat, I'd like to go back to the main branch now, and then the files on the left side will reflect that.
Yes,
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
Now, well, there's a bit of a difference there. And that's what I was saying before was once we make this change in development branch, we're going to go back to main and we're going to basically confirm that that change doesn't exist on main, but it does exist on the development branch. So you'll see that switch happen, but you'll also see how that structure changes. It just going back to main is not going to do anything. You have to pull from main. That's the difference. So, and I'll show you that, right? So I'll show you that. But yes, you go to like going to main is fine. You can do that all you want, but then you have to pull from main so that you're bringing in what's in main onto your local IDE. Okay. I can switch branches all I want, but I have to pull as well. We'll see. So it uploaded it. It says Val's Delights, right? Now I'm going to do what you were saying, Helena. Switch to main. I didn't even spell switch right, and I can code now. How cool is that?
Yay.
So I switched to the main branch, and yet it still says Val's Delights. That's what I was saying, Helena. Switch all you want, but you got to pull from the main branch. So I'm on main. Pull from it though. You got to pull from it. And so pull origin main, right? The origin and main, pull it. And now this has changed in a way that reflects main. So now when I refresh, oh boy, come on. Okay, you're now on the clean main branch with all the latest changes pulled. Do I have to maybe reboot? Let's see. But this is a good thing to illustrate. Um, but my website doesn't show the version of main though, right? And so, oh, so this is kind of, wait one second. This is not going in the right direction, folks. Um, Val's Delight, this is on the development branch, and main should not have Val's Delight. So let me say when I changed to when I changed the wording to Val's Delight, that was done on the development branch. And now that I'm on main, why does it still show Val's Delight? That shouldn't be happening. I actually don't know why that's happening. So, like, this is part of the process. You made the changes on the development branch. You switched to main, but the changes are still in your working directory. So my local directory, which this is showing, like those were the changes. So Git doesn't automatically, okay. Change we name, color, and val delights are still sitting in your working directory, uncommitted modification. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So we need to take a few steps back here. So let's rewind. And I won't lose you guys, I promise. I know you're probably confused. And I'll show you exactly what went wrong.
It's okay. This is making sense.
So let's just rewind, right? Let's rewind back to the point we were on the development branch and things were happening. Okay, so we're on the development branch. That's where we were, a few minutes ago before all that mess. We made changes to Val's Delight locally, but those changes were not pushed to the development branch. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yeah.
You make changes locally, but they're not actually pushed to GitHub. So we changed stuff locally, right? That weren't reflected on the development branch, right? It's going to confirm what I'm saying. So like we made all those changes locally. We switched from culinary delights to Val's delights locally while we were on the development branch, but we never sent it to the development branch, right? And so, the development branch will have Val's delights if we send it, and the main will still say culinary delights. So, okay, let's send it up to the development branch. So that's the key. Like you can change things locally all you want. You actually have to push it up, right? And I could change this commit message all I want. So this is the pushing process so that now the development branch actually does reflect this new change. So are we on the same page here? You are working in the development branch. We made a change. It showed up locally. It says Val's Delight. We actually have to push that change. So we pushed that change. And so that's the idea. So now when we switch to main, right? Now when we switch to main, we're going back into main. You see how it switched to culinary delights?
Yeah.
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 Now if I say switch to dev branch, see how it changed to Val's delights?
Yeah.
So every
Yeah,
time
yeah.
you need to change, you have to push it. You have to push it up to the branch that it knows. That's the idea. Um, and this file structure is actually it's changing. It's changing negligibly. Like what's in the file is changing. So let's say where is that change happening? Like between Val, the light, and or let me ask this. Which file lets me change Val's delights to whatever I want? Let's see what file that's in. It's actually going to show you the file. Can you believe that? Um,
That's actually another question I have. So right now, Cursor's doing all the coding for us, and I wonder, like, at what point you might decide to bring other AI software into the loop and have it make code for you, and
Yeah.
why you would do that instead of just using Cursor.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is a huge question. And that's really the next step for sure. Whatever Helena says, I just say that's the next step. That's like that's my cheat code. I'm like, well, that was part of the syllabus anyways, and I hold up like an empty paper.
Oh my God, there's definitely a SpongeBob GIF for that.
I'm gonna see if you can find it sometime. But my God, I think it's doing some weird stuff. Like this happens. It does weird shit. Like it should not be doing this. Like if I stop it and I say, like it just got stuck. It's just again, it's not perfect. Where are which file lets me change the nav bar header? Nav bar, this is the navigation bar. This is Val's Delights. So Val's Delights. So like it got stuck. If I ask it again, it probably won't get stuck. See, it's called header TSX. So you saw what happened, right? Like I asked it the same question, and or changed the wording around a bit, whatever. I could have asked it the same question. Still would have gotten the same outcome we see here. But I asked it this, and then this is called it's stuck in a recursive thought process. It just keeps cycling, and it would have kept doing that all day. And so if it ever does stuff like that, just be like, what are you talking about? And just ask again. So it's in header TSX, right? And I clicked header TSX and it brought me there. And it even brought me to the line where that's done. Or yeah, this is the header. This is so it brought me to it didn't bring me to the line, it brought me to the container that contained the line. A span in CSS is what you see here. It's a container that contains your content. So if I followed it to header.tsx, it's not going to bring me to Val's Delight. It'll bring me to the container that holds Val's Delight. So you have to do some parsing here. Now, let's say I say Val's Awesome Delights. I'll do control save here. And you see it updated. So Cursor is it's an intelligent text editor. It goes back and it just edits a text and creates it for you. That's if you want to know the whole Wizard of Oz thing, like what's behind the thing, right? Just that analogy. Well, it's Chat GPT, but it edits text, and that text happens to be code, right?
Oh, okay, wait, hold on. So you just literally changed it and it automatically made the adjustment in localhost. You
Yeah,
didn't?
yeah. No, no, no. Yeah, exactly. So see, Val's we're gonna really make his blog awesome. Val's really awesome delights. You see how it did that? I didn't touch anything. I didn't save.
Okay.
It's called, if you want to know what's happening on the back end, it's called NodeMon. When you installed all those packages, there's this really cool guy a really long time ago. This says published 3 months ago, but this is not even true. Like there are things leading back to several years, if you wanted it. But yeah, so NodeMon lets you do that. It's a package where any edits you make update in real time before what would happen, like let's say in 2021, is you would change, then you would do control save, then you would come here, then you would refresh, then you'd see the change.
Right, right. Okay, cool.
Um, so now I just typed a bunch of exclamation marks. It's just there, right? Um,
Cool.
yeah. So 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 now with this change, right? What would I do? Where was I? Am I in the development branch? Okay, so now I'm gonna start being less expressive about things I say. I'm just gonna be like push to dev, right? Push to dev branch, hoping that it understands what dev branch is. And so it does, right? And so this is like now fast and agile development. Now I'm like push to dev, it'll push it. It does everything it needs to do. I keep clicking and crossing my fingers. And things work. And so now dev has Val's awesome delights. And now I'm not saying, can you switch to the main branch so that XYZ? No, I'm just like, switch to main, right? And we'll see this. update culinary delights. So all that scrappy work, it's in the development branch. Keep it there. Um, question though, how do I bring in um, and I'm going to pose this question to you guys, and it's kind of a kicker. But how do I bring in that the changes in development branch to main? Does anyone know?
You go to main and then you tell it to pull from dev?
Awesome. That's an answer. Helena, what do you think?
Can you answer? Sorry, ask the question one more time.
How do you get, so we have two different branches, right? So if I say switch to dev, like we have this thing here. How do we get this to be in main, right? How do we get both now I'm happy with what's on the dev branch. How do I get it to be on main?
Hmm, push it to main.
And so the kicker here is literally just ask, right? Let's not think about this stuff. Um,
Oh, right.
I know that was lame, was it not?
No,
Um,
no, no, no. It's good because I'll never forget that now.
exactly. So if you don't know something, like don't just be like, man, how do I do? Like, just ask. Just assume it knows. How do I get this what's on dev into main? And it will do it for you. There's no thought. And if you'd like, you should really spend some time understanding like what's going on here. But it does it. And suppose like and that's cool because now when I'm like, okay, switch to main, now when I'm like switch to main and now it's taking me to main, it's the same thing. And now if I say, switch to dev, um, and I'm like, it's the same thing. It's all the same thing. Now that's really helpful. But now I'm like, well, like I'm trying to infuse learning with just blind development. So let's just say that was hand wavy. What did you do to get what did you do to get what was in dev into main? I'm not even saying development branch and capitalizing. Like you have to assume it knows. If you figure out it doesn't, you'll know how you should prompt. And it gives you a whole guide on it. It says, you're absolutely, let me break it down. I switched to the main branch first. So Val's technical answer was correct. I switched to the main branch first. I did git merge the development branch. So I switched to the branch and then I looked back and I said, merge what's in the development branch. And then I did this final command, git push origin main, and that was it. So now, you're not just a developer who just, oh yeah, I know GitHub because it pops up as a keyword sometimes when I'm developing on Cursor. No, I know GitHub. I know that it's a version control system. I know how to pull code from other branches into main. I know that main is supposed to reflect the refined version of the app. So it'll take you more time to build what you want to build if you keep doing this, like learning while developing. But the thing is, the next project you have, which is going to be more complex, where you can't just like click through this all that much, like in the same way I am now. Like you will be more informed, and people will respect you for your knowledge. They're not just going to pass you off as a no code engineer. They'll say, this person is an engineer who's using a no code tool, right? That's the idea.
Yeah, awesome.
Um, so now, now, this is something I don't generally do, so you'll see me learn this in live time with you, which is really helpful as well. But it's not so the way I've described it right now is that every time you have a new version of your app, you create a new branch. That's not true. You can do that, and people actually do that. But branches themselves have multiple versions of the project. And again, it's a mental paradigm I really want to emphasize. What I've described so far right now is that branches themselves serve as the versions for your code. That's not true. You can do that, people do that, and I do that. I like it. It's just a preference. But a more professional way is that the branches themselves have versions. That's the idea. So when you create, you know, um, let's say I want to start developing the about page.
Okay, wait, hold on. Before
Yeah,
we
I want to make, yeah, you can clarify. I want to make sure you got this. Go on.
thank you. So now you're okay. am I understanding this correctly that branches are actually like folders, and within those folders there are versions?
Yes, that's the way to put it. I learn so much from people I teach sometimes and all the time. So yeah, that's the way to put it.
Okay.
Can you say that once more?
Branches are like folders, and within those folders there are versions.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's the correct way to think about it. Now, also I could have a different like I could have a different folder for each version, right? But I could also have folders within which there are versions. That's the professional way to do it. Are we on the same page with all that?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, this makes sense. And thank you for explaining it that way, Helena.
no
Yeah,
problem.
that was strong. Awesome. That even helps me because I don't do like what, I don't do it the professional way. Like to me, from a bird's eye view, if there's a new version, I usually just make it a new branch. But the professional way is the branches, you name the branch after like the feature that you want to add, right? So that's conventional wisdom. So if I'm working on the if I'm back here, about doesn't have anything. I want to work on the about page, but I don't want anything else to break, right? So what I'll do is I'll create an about branch where I'm working on the about page. And sorry, Helena, go on.
Oh, just I thought that branches were for denoting what wee hours in the morning you were working.
Oh, no. That's
I'm
the
good.
name I would give them.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no, that's a good joke.
4:31 a.m.
5 p.m. final. Like 11. But then some people they look at my work and they're like, what is one of the branch names was finally this is working. Like what are you doing, Rob? But like, professionally, right? What you would do is, oh, I want to work on the about page. I don't want to touch anything else. I'm going to create a different branch for the about me page where the whole app is going to work exactly as it should work, except I'm working on the about feature there. So I'm
Okay.
going to run that, and it created a new branch for the about. You're now on the about branch. I wonder if that reflects here. I wish it did, but you have to usually push it to see it. Okay, so let's push the current version of this app to the about thing. And now you'll see when I create different versions, I don't need to create a different branch. You can do that if you want to, but um so now I have this, I'm working on the about me page. Here's the about me page. And it has the version of the app exactly as it's up to date with main, right? So if I want to work on the about, I'm going to pull the freshest, greatest version, and then I'll start working on the about, right? Um, let's do that in the about me, in the about section, in the about section of the web page, write up a completely hypothetical about me. Um, um, and let's say just have a bunch of hypothetical text and show a roadmap of my progress in creating the blog and my first post and the blog getting marketing attention, or let's say news attention, right? Like I'm just being creative here. And so like, just stuff that can just be in that about me. Um, just so that I'm not giving the impression that Cursor is only capable of just dumping text into pages. It's capable of everything. I mean, I'll show you an app I built in 4 or 5 days. I mean, it just had everything. It was hooked up to its own AI and it queried a lot of stuff and did a lot of things, and it was really cool. But what I'm trying to demonstrate here is the fact that we have the about me of the about development branch. Now we can like shift through versions in the about development branch. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to kind of
Yeah, yeah.
so usually, oh, I want to work on this page, I'll make it a different branch, and then within that branch, I'll have different versions of my progress through working on that page, right? And then once I'm all good on that branch, I'll merge it in with main. And then main will have the latest and greatest. So
Awesome.
here we are with the about. This is pretty cool. You got a whole guide, a whole thing going on here,
Oh my gosh.
right? And again, it's jarring.
Wow.
It's really jarring, but like, I mean, it's capable of aesthetics. I think that's self-explanatory. So don't let this, dishearten you. But that's what we got. Now we're on the About Me branch. About Me branch now has this. Main does not have this, right? Main does not have any of this. If I switch to main, you know, oh, I didn't do that push thing. Switch back to about. You saw what happened? I didn't do the push thing, right? So nothing really changed. Um,
Oh, sorry. Just how do you know when to push?
After you make a change, right? After you make a change that you're happy with, that you're done working on. Like I just populated the About Me page, so push to About branch, right?
Okay.
Um, like I just made a change, so the more often, this is key, the more often you push, the more you can backtrack on a mistake, so that like if I'm working and I did the About Me page. Within the About Me page I changed the roadmap. Within the roadmap I changed the names. I did 3 changes, so if anything goes wrong I can't revert back to the earlier. You see what I mean? The more often you push, the more versions you have of your app, and you can backstep to a version that reflects a very recent version. Do you see what I mean? Is that confusing?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
No, that makes sense.
So you want to push, you hear this often, so often in CS circles. Push often, push often. So the About Me, and then I switched to main. Main doesn't have it because I was on about, so, switch to main. Main doesn't have it, right? But about switch to about. About has it. Now, this is the first change in the About Me page, right? Back on the About branch. Now I'm going to change something in the About Me page, and that will create, in a sense, in my opinion, okay, so 2 versions. So meet Valerie Chen, and I'll say, hey, it's not Valerie, dude. Um, it's Val. So we say meet Valerie Chen. Actually, just say meet Val, and okay. Okay, so now it says meet Val. Now I made that change, but I didn't push it. Do you see what I'm asking here and why?
Um, Not yet. Hold on. No, do you mind breaking this
Yeah.
down?
So I pushed the About Me page as it appeared the first time. That was great. Now I decided, so that was my first push. That was a version of the app. Now I just changed Meet Val. I changed Meet Valerie Chen and then I changed it to Meet Val. If I push this, that should be a new version. So now I have 2 versions in the About. One is Meet Val and one is Meet Valerie Chen.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
So I asked it, I was like, push that change. But before you do, will this create 2 different versions within the About dev branch where version 1 is Meet Valerie Chen and version 2 is Meet Val? You know? And then so it's like, yes, exactly. Version 1 is Meet Valerie Chen. Version 2 is Meet Val. Here's what will happen when we commit and push. Git will keep a full history of both versions that I just created, one with the Valerie Chen and one with val. And
Okay.
you can see that change by looking at the commit history. We're going to see that too. And if
Okay.
you wanted to revert, I could revert back to meet val from val. I could revert back to meet Valerie Chen from meet val. Do you see how now this makes sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's kind of what I wanted to stress, and we'll see the commit history. So it's going to do it. Shit. It even makes a really nice commit message for you.
Thanks for the level of detail, Ron.
Yeah, yeah, of course. So these are two commit IDs, one with meet Valerie Chen and one with meet Val. And so I feel as though it says that there was a recent push. I'm going to go to the about branch and I am going to um, let's see. I'm going to click this. Okay. Meet Valerie Chen to meet Val. Right, and it shows me where I changed that. Meet Valerie Chen to meet Val. Um,
Yep.
this is in the about branch. I initially, you know, I pushed. It's tracking everything that I did so far, and then added comprehensive about page with timeline, story, news, and then changed meet Valerie Chen to meet Val. And um, and so now I can toggle between this stuff, right? So I was like, okay, well, go back to when it said Valerie Chen, right? To that version. So it'll track the version based on the ID.
Cool.
Yeah. What's up?
Oh, nothing. Cool.
Is there a practical downside to having too many pushes? Like, does it clutter the list or make things difficult more later on, or is that not a concern?
Yeah, that is a pretty good concern. Like, um, because like then it's like you just have a lot of versions, but it's on the not concern side because like
Right,
again you can just like window shop through all your versions, right? And see like, which one which one you want to revert back to that reflects, before you went through a development rabbit hole and everything broke, you know. So it's better say when you do something meaningful, like I wouldn't commit if I just changed Val to Valerie Chen. I wouldn't do that. I would change the text, this whole text, right? If I wanted, and then I would commit that, right?
right, right,
So you want to push meaningfully. Like I'm not going to push a version where this sentence is different and then this sentence is different. I'm going to work on this whole thing. It's like a category of work I'm doing. I'm fixing this paragraph. Okay, now I'm going to step away. Let me change this version. Let me push this version where that paragraph was changed. So maybe fixing the roadmap is going to be a version and fixing the paragraph is going to be a version because those are two meaningful things. So then I can go back to a point where just the paragraph was changed and not the roadmap, right? So that's kind of the idea. You don't want to do it like for every, like I just changed this S to a D, it doesn't make sense to do that. Work on something meaningful. Once you're done working on it, push it, but make sure that the segment of work is in a small enough chunk, but also a respectable chunk so that it makes sense to push.
Okay. Cool.
Um,
Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, and so you can go really far with this. Like I mean, I haven't quite stressed the ability of cursor. You know how some authors they'll say, "I'll leave that to the reader." Well, I'll leave that to you folks to be, explore and, um, you know, it's Valerie, but Val to my friends is so wrong. You know, and but here's the thing. Uh, now you have a branch that boot blog you have a branch where, oh, okay, now you're happy with about, right? Again, you need main to reflect the current version. So I'm going to push, like the main doesn't have the work that we did on the about stuff. So um, let's take the most recent changes to um, most recent version of, I don't have to actually say version, most recent version. I don't have to do that. Let's take about and merge it to main. After a while, like you might just get the hang of it. You might even not want to do this just to, flex your muscles. It went to main first where it didn't have the about, remember? And from main, it pulls what's in the about, right? And now main has the latest and greatest.
Mm.
Right. Um, and so that's the idea. That's the idea.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rom.
Of course,
Yeah,
have
this is so cool.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's so shocking how this completely undermines everything I learned.
Yeah, and that's I guess that contextualizes my like Doom conversations. Val, for reference, I have Doom conversations with Helen all the time, where I'm basically just saying, I'm cooked, I'm screwed, and Helena is just encouraging me. And she's like, well, look at the
Oh,
bright side. So and it does help. The bright side helps Helena, so thank you. Um,
Yay.
so and like, I don't want to bore anyone here, but to follow the steps, get that Maddie branch up, in Cursor and go crazy. But definitely open a different branch. Once your GitHubs are all settled, like once you have them, um, I'm gonna go to, and this is useful to get on the recording. I'm gonna go to um settings, usually if you want to do this as well for yourselves. And then you're gonna go down to collaborators, okay? And then um you can add people, right? So, Helena, what's your GitHub?
It's Helena Kent. Yeah.
That one, right? And I can just invite you and then it'll add you. And then the email that's associated with your GitHub account will get a notification. Join the repo that Rom just invited you to. So with that in mind, um, let me go to Maddie revamped. Okay. And let me go to settings. Oh, I added Alec. James still doesn't want to accept my request because he's mad I reinvented everything. I'm joking. He really likes it.
oh
Uh,
my gosh.
yeah, no, he's super really happy with it. He's like, oh man, it's awesome. So,
Just don't touch the acronym. As long as you don't do that, everything's good.
everything's fine. If you go there, then things might be weird. Um,
Val, you have a GitHub too, right?
Me?
I actually don't know.
Okay.
Oh yeah, just make one. Let us know what the name is, and then we'll add you on here. Water's warm. Don't worry about it.
Thank you
Um,
very much. I've been meaning to for a while because there are like one or two projects that I've been meaning to donate to, open source ones.
oh, that'd be so cool. Um, yeah, so that's the rundown, and sometime soon when I can structure it better, I'm gonna show you some other cool tools. And another thing is that I wanted to answer Helena's question because she posed a really good question. She's like, "What about all the other AI and stuff?" And that's a really good question. So let's go to settings, right? And if you go to models, can you still see my screen?
Yep.
Yes, we can.
Go to models. These are all the popular AI from across the universe.
Oh, wow.
So the way that why Cursor is what it is that it is a convener of AI output. So it actually asks a lot of models, and it somehow is able to refine it down to the best, most accurate version. Um, and so like this is DeepSeek, Grok from Elon, Claude from Anthropic, GPT, all from OpenAI, Gemini um, from Google, right? You can play with this. So that's the thing. It took a lot of research and experimentation when I was using, let's say, I was using like, oh man, I have this on. This is screwing up my design. O3 is not good at design. And so you actually see benchmark testing on a number of things and how it performs. Gemini is invariably better at design. Um, and you kind of learn this stuff as you go. I'm trying to get the benchmarks up. It was somewhere. It was somewhere where you can see all the benchmarks. But um, I uh, I because it combines the output from multiple, I usually, and because I need that combination, sometimes I can't get it to use the model I want for something particular. So like I would like to use Gemini's output for design, but it might be using Claude's for design. So if both Gemini and Claude are on, which I need them to be, I actually can't pick and choose which is used for design, which is used for something else like database storage or something. So that's why, you get diminishing returns sometimes. So what one needs to do is actually go to those services themselves and give Gemini enough context and then bring it back to Cursor, then giving it to Cursor, you have to depend on Cursor for it to integrate into your code base. And sometimes it doesn't do that because you didn't give Gemini enough context. Um, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, we
That's
can follow.
that's the hair pulling kind of like this sounds cool and fun and easy, but when it comes to, making something beyond like let's say a blog website, and things need to move and things need to be animated and data needs to be stored and people actually need to chat with one another and everything needs to follow the same design. Sometimes Gemini, context windows, sometimes when the context is too large, Helena, you know this from your research, GPT or any kind of AI loses its tether on context and it starts veering off into a different direction. So you could very well lose context and have to go into another chat and somehow give all of that context in a more summarized way. Maybe you need to give pictures of how your ongoing design is so that the next thing it outputs matches that. And maybe you just won't get the same results, so you have to sit there for a while and keep banging and trying to get those results. And
Okay.
maybe when you do get the result, Cursor is not integrating it right. So then you have to start using other AI to see what mistakes Cursor is making. It's a huge thing. That's why I said in the description, it's a modern stress test of software development using tools like this. And there are other tools that I mean to go into sometime.
Okay.
I'll
Got
stop here. What do you guys think?
well, you are doing an absolutely incredible job, and it has been nearly 2.5 hours. So, uh,
Oh
you,
my God, yeah. I should have
yeah,
been more mindful about everyone and
no,
their time.
no, this is
No,
awesome.
no,
It's so helpful. It's literally going to change our lives.
yeah,
Um,
I agree. Seriously, sorry for interrupting, Elena.
no, no, not at all. Um, I'm so sorry to ask, but can we just do like one like super basic thing in Maddie before we end
Yes.
the
I
call?
think that's awesome. Like Helena and her questions, one word, awesome.
Oh,
So guys, like, you remember how to do this, right? I go here, right? I grab that link. Isn't that right?
yeah.
And then I clone that repo, drop the link in, select where I want it. And if you already have a folder going, like just, I'll refer back to that folder. New folder, um, Maddie stuff. Ooh, oh, yeah, select as repository destination. That's fine, I guess. Open. I only have one branch here. It was just such a terrible thing because I don't like it. Once I'm, and this is, don't listen to me, but once I'm in the flow state, I just love just continually working. I don't want to interrupt that process and like push. And then I have like 16 branches. Within those branches, there are versions. If things go wrong, I'll sort it out on home base and it'll get pushed up when it's good. Don't do that. But it's like when there are too many variables, I break down. Um, Anyways, what are we doing? Okay. So we're doing this and host first, right? So let's local host this. And again, different projects, different dependencies, um, did that work or not? You stop the server later. Let's see if it did. No. So it sees the issue, but you can also just take all this and copy paste it if it doesn't see it. Like it should have seen the issue, right? And it did, but I'm just saying for future reference, you can actually do that. Again, I just pushed. Remember how I said you have to install the dependencies? GitHub does not have the dependencies. It has links to where you can find the dependencies when you build a project. Um, because then you're pushing so much. So it gives you a list of the dependencies in this package.json. It gives everything you'll need to build the project and their respective versions. Then when you do PNP install, it will go in this JSON and it will read, I need this, install it. I need this, which version, install it. I need this, which version, install it. And it will do that for all. So you only push up a little text file with versions. Imagine if you actually pushed up all of this. It just bloats the project uselessly. So now I can run it PNP dev. Before we were using npm for a project. This is PNP or PNPM, right? This is like a different package manager. Anywho, I should be good on this, although yeah. It just took a minute to load up. Um, what the hell? Okay, so I don't know what that annotate thing is doing. Now, I pulled from main. Is that a good idea to start working on that? Probably not, right? So, let me create I wanted to work on um some plugin stuff. I wanted to edit the description. So, can create a different branch. It's not a technical term. For working on I'm going to call it plugin. Hmm. And I could just do git branch, but I'd rather just which branch are we on just to not make anything crazy. Let's push to that branch. Because again, just because I made a new branch, I'm not going to see it here and it's not going to have anything. So why would it show it to me? So let's push to that branch, right?
So you push when you make changes that are substantial and when you create a new branch.
Yeah, because if there's nothing on the branch, why would it show it to me, right?
Okay.
And so now I created the branch and I pushed to it. And so now I actually do see that there is a plugins branch and it has everything main has, right? It's identical to main. Now, just before I do anything, I don't want to mess up main because I put my life into that. This is how things are actually. Like, you put a lot of work, a lot of effort, months, and then you're like, I don't want to touch that. So I just want to make sure, which branch am I on? Right? Right. So I'm on plugins. Now you can go back and be like, okay, well, I basically want it just to say cast foresight instead of cast foresight. Just remove engine. Remove term engine from cast foresight engine on. So it's checking and it says, oh, on line 67 is where that is. And you can go there and you can check it out, right? And it's telling me in the red is what it was, in the green is what it will be. So you see how that is now removed? Do we see that?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
I like that change. That's nice. Cool. Let's push to plugin page. Okay. And I like that the commits will like remove engine from cast. Like it's really descriptive. Otherwise, people used to type this up. Can you believe that? And you still can. You could go back and say, I don't want to do that. And now you'll actually see that like plugin just had a push 2 seconds ago. This is for your collaborators. When they log on, they'll see, oh man, someone worked on the plugin pan. Like, what did they do? Like, what exactly did they do, right? And you see what they did. They changed it from cast foresight to They changed it from Cast Foresight Engine to Cast Foresight. This is what they did, right? So you actually see this stuff. Um, and you know, a pull request. We don't have to get into that now. And then let's push that to main. I'm yelling at it for some reason. Um, you know, it checks out to main first, right? And we can see this. I checked out to main, so it still says Cast Foresight Engine, right? And then from there, it will merge what was in plugins, and now it changed. That's cool. And then that change is now pushed to main, so that main has a version of that. And there's a change on the Maddie website, right?
Yay!
Yeah,
Awesome.
cool, cool.
Cool.
Thank,
So
thank you so much, Rom.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
That was super excellent.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.
I live on this stuff. I love teaching this stuff. So you guys are doing me
Oh,
a favor. You
yeah.
can tell I've been waiting for this moment. You're like, this guy's been waiting for this. He's been waiting for someone to ask him this.
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot more to ask, and I'm so glad that you enjoy sharing this with us. And I'm being serious. I'm quite sure this is going to really change Val and Mai's approach to making things in general. So, it's really important. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, ask away. We have a chat going on, and if anything, you let me refine my teaching abilities, which I've been out of touch for a very long time. So it goes both ways. I'm equally, if not more, grateful. And you know, yeah, and I learned some things along the way. Like the whole like branching and then within versions. Like you saw me learn that in real time, and you're gonna learn so much in real time with yourselves. But it's so important. So just go crazy if you want to build things that you want, and you know it's a crazy time and age, and I won't have a job, but that's besides the point. We'll
Oh my
see.
God. Well, I thought
You'll
we
get there when you
decided,
get there.
yeah, I thought we decided that you will have a job and it will just be at a more strategic level.
Yeah, exactly. I'll be a philosopher. Let's see how much they make. How much does a philosopher make? Um,
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna
uh,